Good morning, everyone. It's Bonita from Pennies to Dollars, and today we are going to talk about what you can do when you have financial setbacks. It happens. The hot water sprung a leak on us Monday morning. I came downstairs and it was shooting water everywhere. We went 2 days without any water and had to call in a plumber. These things happen and they're not always in your budget, and it's not always a good time. In fact, there's never a good time for these things to happen. So you have to kind of make a plan for what you're going to do when these things happen, or when something huge happens that really messes up your plans, like your air conditioning going out in the summer. You have to keep going no matter what. You can't throw in the towel. Sometimes it feels like that you want to just give up because everything just keeps happening and you have the worst luck ever, and no matter 2 steps forward, you're going 3 steps back. But when in doubt, punt. That's what I always say. And I'm not a football fan, but it is a really good philosophy to live by, because you still have a backup plan when those things happen, and that's the whole idea behind it. There will always be failure if you don't have a backup plan. There's always lots of options. Sometimes you have to make up the backup plan as you're going along, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. We spend so much time earning our money, and then sometimes we spend 2 minutes spending it all when we get it, and it comes in and it just goes right back out, and we spend all this time earning it and it just goes right back out. So I try to give little tips and tricks on how to make that money last longer, so that you can get ahead of the game and not just be living paycheck to paycheck. It may sound silly, but have a family meeting. Include your kids, not to fear-base them, but to say, hey guys, this happened, we need to save up money for this. Do you have any ideas on what we can do? And get everybody on board, because when you get everybody on board and working towards the same cause, it's so much easier to make sure that things go the way that they should. If just you and your spouse are trying to do all of this behind the scenes, you're not going to have everybody on board. Because let me tell you, it helps so much if you've got everybody watching to shut off the lights, everybody watching to unplug something they're not using. Everybody is on their top game to help with this situation. And you can make it fun. For instance, if you have pizza night every Friday night, and that's just something your family has always done. I know people that do this. Maybe a couple of nights out of the month you can do make your own pizza night instead of ordering out. We did a make your own pizza night the other day. It was just my husband and I, and later he said, that was so much fun making my own pizza. And he is an adult, so just think how much fun it would be for your kids to make their own pizzas. And sometimes you can just buy those pop-out biscuits and just make the pizzas on there, or even make a homemade pizza crust. It hardly takes any ingredients. It's very, very cheap to do, and people can make their own pizza. One of the things that I found that we don't really talk about is making your portions chopped smaller. When we make stews, when we make pot pies, when we make anything, we've gotten to be where we make big chunks of vegetables. But back in the day, when there was lots of kids, like the old woman that lived in the shoe, she added more water to the soup. She chopped those vegetables tiny. The other day I made a pot pie in a pie dish, and it took 2 cups of vegetables, and I chopped them very, very tiny. But if I would have chopped them in big chunks like we're used to today, I would have had to have 4 cups of vegetables instead of 2. It's the same amount of filling, but it takes a lot less ingredients, and no one can tell. other than you've chopped a bunch of smaller vegetables. And then when you take a bite, you have more variety in that spoonful because you've chopped them smaller. And it looks like there's more of it than if you chop them in larger chunks. Those are just some little tiny tips and little tiny tricks that you can do to make things stretch. Ask how each person can help when you're trying to figure out a plan at this family meeting. I'm sure everybody will have ideas. And a lot of times when you have brainstorming meetings, you're having ideas that you hadn't even thought of. And that's the great idea behind the brainstorming, is you're going to pull in all of these ideas from people with different perspectives, and they may have some really good ideas, or even a portion of their idea may work if you work on that portion of that idea and build it up a little bit. So if you have a high electric bill one month, say, hey guys, what can we do? What can we do to lower that electric bill? If your air conditioner goes out and it's a huge bill, what can we do? Can we get a couple of window units for the bedrooms, or a window unit for the living room to get us by until we can figure out how to take care of this large bill? And then take a look at how easy it is to save $10. In one of my last videos, I told you how I could easily cut $10 from my grocery shopping bill by not buying 3 items. It is very easy to do, but we get on those blinders and we forget how we can do things in any other way other than the ways that are marketed to us. And those ways cost money. We need to get more original in our thinking, or sometimes even more primitive in our thinking, and go back to some of the older ways that people did things before they had magic erasers and all of these things that are marketed to us. What did people do before those items? They used something else. And that's where our grocery budget skyrockets when we go to the store. It's not always for groceries. It's for all of these extra little things that are marketed to us that we throw in our basket. When I grew up, there wasn't a Pop-Tart. There weren't things like that that were marketed to us. We had the basics. And sometimes just going back to those basics for a time period will help you get ahead of the game. Get determined to meet that goal. Fix that problem. Any plan works better than no plan. If you go into the store to shop and you don't have a plan, and you're just looking to see what looks good, what am I hungry for? And as a nation, we do a lot of that now. We are so spoiled that we will maybe go to the grocery store daily to see what we are hungry for. But if you go into the store without a plan, you're going to come out of the store with things that sounded good, looked good, and maybe were not in your budget. So any plan is better than no plan. Always make a list, shop your house first, figure out what you can make from what you have at your house with only adding a few items. Right now we are only buying perishable items, and we're using everything else at home. We are only buying milk and eggs, and we have limited the eggs. We are only buying fresh fruits and vegetables, and I'm only buying those that are in season, and then everything else I am just trying to figure out what I can make from there. If I need to add something small and something cheap to make my food stretch, then I'll buy that something small and cheap. If I go in and there's a really good buy on something and it's marked down for clearance and I know I can use that up, I'll pick up only those items. And I go in with that plan and I get out, and I don't buy anything extra. The more that people are focused on the plan, the bigger your reward. So if you get everybody on board, you will meet that goal, because everybody will be working together to meet that goal. I hope that this has been helpful to you. I appreciate your time today, and thank you so much for watching, and good luck on your unexpected disasters that come up, I know that you can figure out a plan to get through to the other side. When in doubt, punt. Have a great day.